Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, I'm here with Marvin Wynn, the creator and the guy behind The Edge. And we were just talking before we went live. You were one of my first, if not, I think you were my second, live conversation. Man,
Yeah.
time flies, huh?
Oh yeah. 4 years ago. So I mean,
40
it's
years ago. Holy moly!
do I
And
look older?
Marvin,
I look older since then.
and everybody says I look younger because I shaved off my old gray beard. You look
Hey.
exactly the same. And well, it's funny because you had a clean-shaven face, if I remember correctly, and I had the big beard. So
Right.
we're swapping places over here.
Right.
Yeah. So how's it going, man? It's been a long time since I talked to you.
Yeah. I mean, things have been going good. Like we've been like hitting the cons and doing panels and just having a lot of fun with the comic stuff.
Yeah. Since I met you, I met Heroinberg in person.
Yes.
It's funny because I never knew what he looked like, and he started talking to me, and I'm like, no offense, but who are you?
Who are you, little guy, little fella?
Yeah, not what I expected. Do you ever just build an appearance from somebody, from their voice?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like on Wednesdays, I do a show with RJ from the Fourth Age. I've never seen him, but I have a mental image. And, one day he's going to walk up to me in a crowd and I'm not going to know who he is. He's like, John, hanging out for 3 years. Isn't that funny? I've been talking to a guy for 3 years. I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah. He's incognito.
Yeah. So that was neat to meet him. So Heroinberg, to let everybody know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I forget what I know what it was. I talked about FemForce.
Yes.
Talked about FemForce, and Heroinberg is really into FemForce.
Mm-hmm.
He said there was an inspiration for his Heroinberg series.
Yes.
So that he sent me a comic, and I was like, oh my God, people have sent it. It was like literally the first thing anybody ever sent me. And I think he put a couple of your comics in a bundle.
Yeah. Correct.
And I was like, wow. So I did videos about them. I never was sent comics before. I figured do the right thing. And I'm glad I did, because it started a couple of years. He comes in my chats. We talk a few times. So it all works out. It's all pretty cool.
Awesome.
Oh, well, geez, my mouse isn't working. I met Heroinberg at Heroes Con. Yeah, I met him at the I forget what the name of the convention was in Jersey, but after the convention, I met a bunch of people at
Salem Con last year. Salem?
No, not Salem. I forget what it was. But I met a whole bunch of people. I met Graham Nolan, Pat Broderick, Cecil. I met so many people that night.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that was a fun night. Glad I went. And here you go. You got your trade paperbacks, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Marcus already has your links. So So tell us about well, I'm getting ahead of myself because I drank way too much coffee. But you got your comic, The Edge, and I got to say, I think I got up to 7. I think of the floppies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. What are you up to now? I got to catch up.
So in the Kickstarter, we actually unlocked issue 10. Okay. So you'll be able to get issue 10 through the Kickstarter. Issue 7 is in previews now on the website. I think I have issue 12 prepped.
Okay.
But I mean, we've got up to 15 issues and then 4 one-shots.
Okay. Yeah. I got a couple of your comics that Heroinberg sent me. Then I bought all the rest that were available at the time, and now I got to catch up. 15 issues, so I got some reading ahead of me. And this is all available on your Kickstarter.
Up to issue 10 is available in the Kickstarter.
All right,
so I'm gonna... that was unlocked when we hit 2,500. That unlocked issue 10.
Oh, cool. So
you can get in the trades. So it's Volume 1. I mean, it's issue 1 through 4 in Volume 1. Volume 2 is issues 5 through 9. But if you want, you can also get the single issues are available on also.
Yeah, I'm an old timer. I got to get the floppies. That's the way I am. Yeah, I remember this. You want to tell us a little bit about your comic?
Sure. So The Edge in this world is a drug that can give you superhuman abilities, but then the more you use the powers, the closer you are to death or insanity. So in our first 4 issues, we meet the Strike Team and then Revenant. Revenant is on a mission to eliminate the leader of the strike team. His name is Richard Tartable, because he blames Richard Tartable for every problem he's had in his life, because he was part of the program that actually kind of injected him with the edge. Revenant's ability is, if he bleeds, he duplicates. So for anyone who's familiar with Multiple Man from the X-Men, his powers are similar to that, only it's not just from physical contact if he bleeds.
Oh, what a power with a lot of ethical conundrums.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. I got to say, this piece of art right here stopped me in my tracks.
Mm-hmm. That is the Mystic one shot. So, as you know, Mystic is the character who has the two swords that have like a mysterious symbol that's on the top of that arc there.
Right.
We don't know where the origins of the swords are, so we're going to find out in his one shot the origins of the swords and the people who bore those swords before him.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the Panther realm, where they're kind of influencing and talking to him from beyond the grave, and he's sick of it and he wants them to shut
up. All these voices in my head. I'm just trying to go to sleep.
Right.
That is who drew that. That is awesome.
All of the art is done by our artist Mark V. So everything you see there is all his art.
Oh, even the images that I scrolled past was the same artist.
Yeah.
Okay, same colorist, because your colors are outstanding.
So we have 3 colorists that we normally work with: Luis Antonio Delgado, Rafael Badian, and Chavez. So it's a combination of those 3. And I kind of throw different things at them, because each one of them has their strengths in getting something to pop. So depending on the art or the amount of characters, it depends on who gets to do the color shows.
I was looking at this image. I got to look. So at first I thought, wow, you're going to get some edge in little pharmaceutical containers with your comic, but.
So this is the commercial version of the edge. It's called Optus Vis, which is Latin for firepower. So a character that we're introduced to in issue number 3, Marcus Drake. He is the CEO and owner of Drake Industries, a pharmaceutical company that is trying to copy the edge.
Okay.
So they end up copying a downgraded version of it, and they put it out for sale, like in pharmacies.
Yeah, so it's the what do they call it? The generic brand that's not as good.
Right. So inside the bottles there are pills. They are not to be eaten, ingested, or stuck in any hole. There is a scroll inside, and if you it'll have something written on the scroll, and if you get one of those that has something written on it, let me know, and you will get something for free.
Oh, what a unique promo! That's pretty cool.
And we do have graded books. So we are partnered with Expert Grading Service. And what I really like about his name is Tony. What he does is he does custom labels. So you see the comic book logo, and then the coloring is based on the coloring of the comic itself.
Oh, cool.
So nice. That's part of the Kickstarter. So those are add-ons. Those are very limited. So if anyone's interested in those, I would jump on those as soon as possible. So these are preview pages from issues 5 through 9.
Okay, I gotta go and check what was my last issue and get caught up, because I enjoyed your comic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed your comic. One of the things I remember distinctly was the artist, and again, the name escapes me. I apologize.
It's Mark V.
Mark V.
Yeah.
I really like the way he draws technology.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes with like cars and technologically advanced guns and weaponry and things like that. And I thought it was really cool.
Really he does a really good job with the character designs and making each character unique and distinct. And that's a preview page from issue 10.
Okay. And is it fair to say that he has a manga influence?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that's our theme song. So the characters do have theme songs. We have 2 a strike theme and then an edge overall theme. The one theme was done by my cousin. She's a singer, so she did a song theme for us. Yeah. That is original art. That is like a unique piece. That's Jose Luis.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
During interim, yeah. and that's you can get that as a reward.
That is absolutely gorgeous. I'm sorry, I was staring at it and I missed the name of the artist.
Jose Luis. I think
Oh,
he's doing some stuff for DC right now.
oh wow, that is gorgeous. Okay. Oh wow.
So that is the exclusive Kickstarter cover for issue number 10. So this introduces Kyrad, who is kind of the enforcer for God's Thunder. You might remember God's Thunder. They were the terrorist group from the first issue that were keeping the hostages.
Okay.
So they hate people with powers. So they figured the only way to eliminate people with powers is to get someone who has powers to go after them.
Okay. You see, this is a perfect example of the technology in the background, and when I say technology, I'm also including the architecture, like, he does a really good job. I mean, I'm not saying he's not doing good with figures, but if you're drawing superhero comics, you're drawing figures, but a lot of the guys can't do the backgrounds and buildings and the technology. Your guy does a really good job. I can't even freaking speak today. So I'm just looking at your tiers. So a digital two trades for $10. That's pretty good. Can't beat that. What do you got? The Edge Volume 1 and 2 digital. That's
the digital is 20 for both and 10 for just volume.
Okay.
Volume 2.
The T-shirt. I'm so torn that I want to do T-shirts for my campaign. The Edge Wham Stam and Whamblem. That is just so clever.
Right. So it's a company that does Wham Stand. So it's a stand for the book, and then the Whamblem is a magnetic, so it sticks to the front. So he not only does stands, he does spinner racks, he does boxes, so all kind of stuff, and he's done stuff for like action figures and a whole bunch of other things that are coming soon.
Cool. Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, anything physical that you buy, you get a bottle of Octus Vis for free, and then I think you can add on like $1 or something that'll get you another one.
The Edge Volume 1. Oh, so this is a trade paperback. This is physical.
Right. Yes.
Comics Bird issue 1. Oh, this is a sampler of all your comics. That's pretty cool. Oh, cool. That's a good idea. That's pretty good. Retail set. That's such a good idea. Such a good idea. What trades? Okay. Wow. Not a bad price if you get all of those comics. I'm just looking at the tiers.
Right, and that's free shipping for retailers.
Nice.
We want to be partners with retailers and help them out as much as we can.
Yeah, I agree. Now, like somebody like me, I've been paying attention. I want to get the floppy issues that I've missed. I'm pretty sure I have 1 to 7. So is there a tier? What would you recommend for me?
Did I do it? I mean, I think I might have did it as add-ons. So can you scroll through there real quick?
Oh, sure.
If you want to just get single issues, I will throw that in there, and I'll give you the unique covers also, since you might have some of the other ones.
I'm already.
I thought I put a tier in there for just singles.
Yeah. Because I'm an old-fashioned guy. I gotta get floppies.
Sure. Let me pop over there real quick. I thought I did one the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be sure. I'll be happy to put one in there for you.
And I'd be remiss in my duty if I didn't remind everybody that Heroic Tales, my comic with the Mike Gustovich cover, is available on. While you're doing that, I'll bring up my comic because I got to. Why can't I figure out what to do?
Oh, I've got it in the Over the Edge, so that gets you both trades and the singles. But if you just want the singles, you could do, if you want the Wham Stand, if you want something like that, you could do that and then throw the other issues in. Or I can just make a tier that has.
Oh, okay.
Know when it's up. So,
I thought you were going to be gone for a couple minutes updating. Man, you're good. It takes me forever to fix. I'll see a glitch on my campaign. I'm like, that's my project for the night. But I just showing everybody this Mike Gustovich exclusive on Indiegogo right now. So there we go. So you've been doing this. Has it been 4 years? Yeah, 4 years, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I started actually working on what would become the Edge like back in 1992. And like I'm very honest about my.
1992. How old are you?
I just turned 50.
You look young.
Yeah, see all this gray, right?
Yeah,
That's
but you still look young, man. I'm 56. I look every second of it. You got a young face. When you said 1992, I was like, "Whoa,
yeah,
were you
yeah.
crayons? You had crayons in your hand making comics?"
And like I said, is that I'm very honest that the book wasn't good, and I kind of put it away for 15 years. So, uh, 2007ish, I met Mark, and we started building in from where I had stopped. And I mean, I give him all the credit in bringing it to life because I think that his ability to bring the energy to the book is what helps me to keep going.
Oh,
If it wasn't for him, like I would have probably just been like, whatever, and moved on with my day after we did the first issue. But it was just so much energy being brought to it. I just want to keep going as far as long as we can, until we get tired of it and want to move on to something else, or we start doing something else and that becomes more interesting to us.
so this is a continuing series. You don't have a definite ending in sight.
I originally did, but what ended up happening was every time that I started writing something else that wasn't the Edge, it became part of the Edge because it meshed so well. So, well, but just like I said, just keep churning it out because people are enjoying it and we're still having fun doing it. So, I mean, there's no reason to stop.
That's good. That's good. I know I know exactly what you think. Because I'm working on a side project. I was just talking with Oscar, who's doing character designs today. It's set in, my comic is set in 2024. This comic is set in 1986.
Okay.
My comic is set in Arizona. The other comic is set in New York. And I'm like, there's no reason why I can't put them in the same world.
Right.
So I started thinking up links, and I'm like, so even though I'm trying to do something different, I'm pulling back to my original story. Yeah, I guess, I
Well, I
see
mean,
what
that
you're
just gives you like more ammo, and it just creates long form storytelling, and I think that people really appreciate something that has a big payoff because like one and done stories are good and they're fun, but me, I'm a long term story kind of guy where it's a building to something.
Oh, cool. So, so in your world, uh, the only way to get superpowers is through the Edge, or is there other?
There possibly could be other methods that we haven't explored yet because we haven't once we start exploring Mystic, that opens up a whole new realm of things because we don't know if the energy is coming from him or from those swords. So
Okay.
once we reveal that, then it probably opens the door for other things like maybe magic or what appears to be magic. Because magic is just science that people don't understand.
Right. Yeah. I was just wondering, like you said, there's I don't know if you want to call them heroes or villains, but there's people that don't like the powered beings.
Right.
Now, do they get like amped up with technology? Super suits and machine guns and things like
Well,
that.
I mean, they're kind of the people who are more, I would say, more of the start in trouble kind of people. Like they kind of egg other people want to do stuff, that kind of stuff. Where they're in the background yappity yapping
Yeah,
on
the
TV,
instigators.
yappity yapping, yeah, trying to get other people, egging them on to do something about it. And then when they discover Kyrad, they're like, okay, so now we can fight back, and we'll use him as our muscle.
Cool. And I forgive me, it's been a while. But what is the name of the super team? So you got Revenant.
Yep.
What are the name of your characters?
So Revenant is a solo character. He does team up with. So the name of the team in the volume 2 is called the Reign, and then their leader is Chaos. So that's where it gets the Reign of Chaos from.
Okay.
He buddies up to them for a while, but Revenant doesn't like anybody. So he's going to betray anyone who's around him. He's going to betray him eventually. But the team, the main team, I just call them the Strike Team. They don't have like an official name.
You write it all, right? So
Yes.
Yeah. Are you like me? Can't draw to save your life?
I can do some really good stick figures.
I don't even know if my stick figures are good or not. I've never been complimented on my stick figure. I was just showing off yesterday my drawings that I sent to the artists, and then what they returned. It's like alchemists turning lead into gold.
But that's the good thing about it, is because you see, like, when you're doing something like this, like I have my camera and then Mark has his own camera that he's pointing at what he thinks is going to be. And sometimes our cameras don't mesh, but I let him do his thing because he knows better than I do where to put the camera at sometimes. It's only if I want something focused on specifically that I'll say, oh, I really wanted this to be focused on. So then I kind of let him do his thing, and then I leave him alone.
I got you. Like your writing style is, Stan Lee would say, "Hey Jack, this is what I want you to do. Go do it." And then whatever he brought back, Stan would adapt to. Is that your style, or do you give your?
Well, I give kind of the directions on what I want to see, and he just runs with it. So I just let it go. I let him go, and it's very rarely that we have to make changes. Like most of the time, we are able to get things meshed in a way so we have like everything we need in the panel, and then when there's dialogue, it fits. Like it's very rare that I have to go back and fix dialogue to make it fit a panel. So we're not covering up any art, or it's not busting through panels if it doesn't have to be. So I mean, we're doing a good job as a team of complementing each other. So then there's not a lot of stuff that has to be fixed on the back end.
Oh, good. So, because your comic, you do crowdfunds, but like you said, I've seen your comic in stores too. So that's pretty. That's something I would like to do at some point. I would love to see in stores.
Right near I want to say maybe mid 2021, we sent out a package to Diamond, and I was surprised that they accepted it so quickly. It was like kind of like the one where, okay, so I messaged them because I was waiting to hear back, and they were like, oh, no one's in the office to pick up the package, so send us something digitally. And it was like maybe 2 weeks later, they approved us to be in Diamond. And it's a door kicker, I would say. So in most cases, when you contact a store and say, hey, I've got a book coming out, some are very, very willing to do direct sales. Others are like, oh, if you were in Diamond. So I got a lot of if you were in Diamond. And then once we were in Diamond, then I hit them back up and say, hey, we're in Diamond now. So put that order in, right?
So you were literally calling up stores and asking, hey, can you order the Edge? This is my comic.
Mm-hmm. Like it was during when Diamond did the shutdown, and a bunch of stores were looking for product, and I ended up making a list of about 400 stores that were independent comic friendly, and I keep in contact with them monthly. So either through phone calls or email, I'm making sure that they still have books in stock, that they don't need anything new, and if there's something new in Diamond, to let them know that it's in there.
Oh wow, that is so cool. That is cool. Because I'm not thinking of Diamond yet. I still got to get my comic out, but I was thinking that like at one point, if I make it up like to 6 issues, I could be like, hey, look, Diamond, here's 6 issues. We'll put out one a month or something like that. That would just be a dream come true.
Right. It's a great feeling to first be in the catalog and then seeing your book. Like someone ordered it and it's on a shelf.
Yeah.
People are taking pictures, going in shops and taking pictures. Oh, I saw your book in the store and I just picked it up. That
is cool. That is really cool. So I good for you, man. Every time I go live and talk to people, somebody always says something that just blows me away that I never thought of. I don't know if you know Project Analysis, but he was talking about the power of conventions, just going to conventions and talking to people. This guy could sell ice to an Eskimo, and now you're talking about getting your books in stores. This is just awesome information.
Right. And we don't just settle. I don't want to say we don't just look for comic shops. Like we're expanding into anywhere there's a person, we want to have a comic. So we're doing pizza shops, we're doing coffee shops, we're doing barber shops. Like we want to have a book everywhere. We want it kind of to be like it was in the past, back in the 80s and 90s, when you could walk into any store, doesn't matter what kind of store it was, and see a comic book.
Yeah, I remember distinctly going in, and I don't know what it is, but sometimes little kids are scared of the barber. And I sat in that chair and I was all nervous. And the barber just put a Battlestar Galactica comic, shows you how old it was from the 70s. Just put it in my hand, and he had a spinner rack, of just beat up old comics that every kid would just sit there. And I just sat there read this comic while he cut my hair. You don't see that anymore.
No. And then I say that when we were talking about it, and I feel like that's why your literacy rates are down, is that comics aren't being read.
Not just comics, people aren't reading.
Yeah.
I used to be a school teacher, and I could tell you on the end of the first day of school, with a very, very high degree of accuracy, I could pick which parents spent time reading with their kids. Even because kids don't even look at, they don't know what page, they're just book illiterate. And if you take time with, we're talking toddler, sit down and read the book to them. That is a great advantage for kids. Like Zach that says, they're too busy being listened to. Yeah, dentists always had comics. Remember that? Go to the dentist office.
Like almost everywhere you went. Yep. The grocery store, your
grocery stores used to have them right by the cashier. Mom, buy me this, when she had change.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Comics used to be able to buy them with the change.
Right. I do understand that's the barrier of this thing, is the price.
Right.
And it's something that we grapple with as independents, is that printing costs are high. Printing costs are very high, and we have to be able to make something off of it, or else we won't be able to keep doing this.
Right.
So we're trying to figure out ways to get something printed a little bit cheaper, do like anthology books or more shorter stories, and get them in more spaces. Like we've trying to do like dollar stores, and things like that, to try to get them back to where it's just something you pick up and read. I know that we do like putting things behind plastic, but this is a one-time thing. This is not something that I'm going to say, hey,
that's a collector's item.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want every comic book to be put in plastic where you can't read it.
See, I don't want to cause any problems, but I'm kind of like, once you slab a comic, that's what, it's not a comic book anymore. It's just an oversized card. But I understand like I'm going to do it for my comic, because how often do I have a number one comic of my own?
Right.
Because that's going to be like a family heirloom, you know what I mean? Right. But I also understand that's taking a comic book out of circulation.
Right. And then I say is that I really, really will endorse expert grading service. They did a really good job. Cheaper than the competitors.
Okay.
And the custom label, I think, is a getter.
Cool.
So I'll drop the link in the chat.
Yeah, that's you gotta do the right thing.
And I do have a code that I'll pass to get, I think it's 10% off.
Every little bit helps.
Yes. So it's just a lot of really a lot of trying different things, and seeing where and when we can fit things in, because we want comics to survive.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that there's not a lot of mentoring of new creators to try to get them.
Oh, absolutely.
And not a lot of grasping new readers. The movies and the TV shows are fine, but it has to come back to the sources eventually.
Well, what roped you into comics?
Honestly, now that I just said that about movies and TVs, it was TV.
Right.
So
everybody had a TV,
Right. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and G.I. Joe, because you remember G.I. Joe had the commercial where they would show like the new issue of G.I. Joe comic.
Right.
So seeing that, and then being interested, like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, when they would have like X-Men and Captain America on the show, and then you walk into a Five and Dime. Was Woolworth and McCrory's were our stores in here in Pittsburgh, and calling my grandma and say, "Hey, can you get me Spider-Man when you're coming home from work or something?" And like you get hooked on it because it's just fun.
Right.
It's the art and the colors and all the storylines and the 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 Secret Wars and Fall of the Mutants and all that stuff was so good back then that man, you just got into it so heavily and you just wanted
Yeah.
more of it.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that, because people don't believe me that there used to be commercials on TV for comic books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You watched like you said, G.I. Joe, you watched Spider, and you like that. Go to your local comic book store or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
get the newest Marvels. You would see in regular magazines
Yeah.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that your mom would pick, that you'd see like a catalog of toys, or you go to Toys R Us. This is another one. You see the G.I. Joe toys on the TV. So now you want the toys. You go to the Toys R Us, and then at the end there would be end caps with like 3 or 4 comics just bagged, and they put a good one in the front, they put a good one on the back, and then some piece of crap in the middle. You open it up, you're like, oh great, I got Richie Rich, but I got Captain America and G.I. Joe, and Richie Rich. Oh well. I don't. Do you have Ollie's by you?
Yes.
Yeah, I just went to Ollie's, and they got comics, like legit real comics, not like me. I have most of them all because I'm a lunatic who buys millions of comics. But because Ollie's is everywhere, so you can go and get some good cheap comics. They would have 10 comics in a bundle for like less than $20. That's $2 a comic. That's not bad.
Right. I mean, it's out there if you want to chase it. It's just the idea that in the past we didn't have to chase it. It came to us. It was easy gettings for
right. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. The story I always tell shows my age, is my mom. She would go, John, go get me a pack of cigarettes. A pack of Ken Kings was $1.75, so she'd give me $2, and I got to keep the quarter. That was my tip. So I would go to the local candy store. They would have those machines where you put the money in, and and the cigarettes would fall out. I mean, I'm a little kid on a bicycle buying cigarettes. Put the cigarette. I get the quarter, and then I'd buy a comic book. I'd be like, Mom, do you need to smoke today? I'll go. That was how I got comic books.
Right.
Can you imagine the horror of doing that to your kids today?
Right. And that's the goal that we're looking at, is returning to that point where it was easily accessible, and it's something that a mom would buy for their child and not be worried about the content that's in it, or if it's something that is going to be too expensive for them to purchase.
So your comics, The Edge, would you say not for kids, for kids, for all ages?
I would say it's so. The funny thing about it is that I went to see Wolverine and Deadpool, and there were multiple under 10-year-old people in that theater.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's I don't think there's anything off limits as long as there's no nudity. So I would say that our book is PG-13. So if they can watch a Marvel movie or DC movie, then it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree. I just was curious what you would say. My mom would send me for the Sunday paper on my bike. Yeah, and you go get a comic. Yeah. I know like a couple of people, like the Brett Weisers, tried to make a deal where they got their comics in Walmarts, and people got mad at them, but because you made a deal with the Empire, and Darth Vader came out and altered the deal. What are you going to do? You're not going to fight with. So I think they unjustly got a little knocked around because of that deal. But I think they tried something different.
Right. And I mean, you almost have to. I mean, if your retail space are shrinking, then you have no options. So your options are Walmart or Target for retail now. Sears is out of the picture. JCPenney is almost out of the picture. Macy's is almost out of the picture. So where are you going to go to get that kind of stuff? Your mom and pop stores and things like that are almost no longer exist. So, I mean, and then the only other option then is Amazon.
Yeah, I know. is Amazon going to be the comic book distributor for America? You know what I mean? It's the only
I
one
hope
with the
not.
infrastructure.
I hope not.
You know, I really wonder, is it anybody want? We got a bunch of people watching. Does anybody know like how many comics a month does Amazon ship? Does that, you know, are they a bigger distributor now than Diamond? Because
Well,
you
for
know,
trades, yeah.
yeah,
For trade pack, yeah. Yeah. Amazon will be bigger than comic shops. Um,
yeah,
but not for
they didn't.
single issues. Like you're not really like I've seen single issues listed on Amazon, but I wouldn't buy one from them. No telling what condition that thing is coming to you. Like
I mean,
sometimes they'll put it in a box, and sometimes they'll put it in a paper bag. So
I'm not so much a condition queen, you know, like,
yeah,
but I do want my comics to look nice.
right.
And a few times I've rebought older comics just because I beat the hell out of them as a kid.
Well,
But I don't need 9.9s.
I remember when we used to get the subs from Marvel, and it would come in a plastic bag with two flimsy pieces of cardboard, and the mailman would continuously roll it up and put it in the mailbox.
Yep. Yep. I remember even before that, it was a brown grocery bag.
Yes.
Just rolled around it and like glued.
Yes.
So this thing just because for whatever reason, Doctor Strange just wasn't in my neighborhood. I wonder if the algorithm, for lack of a better, like if Doctor Strange didn't sell in my neighborhood, so the newsstands didn't get it. So I subscribed to Doctor Strange. Until this day, there's a big crease, I think, along issue number 35. That's the way it came. You know,
right.
It just gets me mad every time I see it. So that was my only subscription to Marvel.
Right. Yeah, we used to subscribe to Avengers, X-Men, and Daredevil.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Luckily, those were. Somebody keeps trying to call me the same number 3 times. Luckily, those were available in my neighborhood. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what it was, but Doctor Strange, the Defenders, Shang-Chi, and there's another one that escapes me. Were just impossible to find.
Oh, it's not more like mystical books were the ones.
Yeah. Werewolf by Night. I didn't even know Werewolf by Night existed until like I worked at the comic book store. That just never showed up. Yeah, I wonder if like my nice churchy neighborhood didn't like all those devil books. And Doctor Strange always had like devilish. I mean, Defenders. They were always fighting devils from.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was Doctor Strange's turf. Got to fight for your corner to deal. Yeah. Not sure about comics, but I know Hobby Lobby sucks. I had to order the Strathmore Bristol paper from Dick Blick or Amazon. All Hobby sells is Chinese. Oh, really? See, I'm not an artist. I don't know about that. I know, Marcus, you're an artist. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, Mark's the artist. Yeah. So I mean, like your boards have to be of the proper quality, like ink, the pencils will rub or ink will rub if you ink on the board. Do you think crowdfunding comics is unsimple? That depends on who's doing it. I mean, I see people making $30,000-$40,000 on Kickstarter continuously.
Right.
So I mean, if like, and this isn't like doing it once in a while like I did. Like this is my I've done 2 in 2 years. People are doing these things monthly and making that kind of money. So it's sustainable if there's a market for it and if you have an audience.
I think it's sustainable if you're consistent.
Yeah,
you got good quality, and when I say consistent, like you don't put out one book and then 5 years later put out another book and then 7 years. You know what I mean? People want. I think like a lot of crowdfunder people, like they wait too long. You got to constant. Like I'm already working on issue number 2 and I didn't even deliver issue number 1 yet. Right. And I'm not saying I'm the model because believe me, I'm a rookie here, but I'm trying to make it so that I could do maybe 1, 2 a year. Mm-hmm. You know, that's as of right now, that I think that's a realistic goal. Right. But is it sustainable? I don't know, because all this work and all this effort that I'm doing, and I did 7,000 on my first campaign. Mm-hmm. I'm barely breaking even. You know, right. So it's the labor of love. This isn't a business. Luckily, I have a real job, but I don't know about you. Do you have a day job? Is this?
Oh yeah. I mean,
would you be able to do this?
I can do
full-time job?
Yes.
So your comic is making enough money that you would be
No. I have another job. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, man, I'm quitting and working with you. I'm moving down
But
to
I mean,
Pittsburgh tomorrow.
when someone says like is crowdfunding unsustainable, I would say that you don't you tackle everything. So you try to distribute through all means necessary. I mean available.
Right.
So conventions, direct if you can, through distributor if you can. So just walking in your own neighborhood, and so like last year, we just set up a table outside and sold books to people who were walking past us on the street. So
Where in front of a car wash, like in front of a comic store?
no, just out in front of a school.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, you take advantage of, like I said, that if there are people there, I want comics there. I don't care what it is, a nightclub, a bar. Like I will walk in there and say, "Hey, do you guys want to carry comics?" All they can say is no or yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of jumping forward on all that stuff.
Do you go to conventions a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you see? I don't have any product yet, so I'm not going to walk into a convention to be like, but when I got some comics, how does that work?
So when you're in those situations, you're like pitching to continuous people about what and where they're what they're doing. So every time somebody walks past the table, you're saying, hey, you want to check out some comics that we got over here? You want to check out some comics from Comicsburg? You want to check out a book? And then you give them your elevator pitch. And the one thing that you want to try to do is try to get them to take the book in their hands. Generally, if you hand someone something, they're not going to put it back down, or they'll say, "Oh, I'll come back and pick it up later. I'm going to go do X, Y, Z."
I'm nervous, but excited to do a convention.
Right.
I'd like to maybe team up with somebody, and we'll do a convention together. I know Vaughn Coleman, who's doing Phenomenova. We were talking about that. That would be fun. It's funny him being he looks like he's 17 years old. He'll be the old
yeah.
veteran, and I'll be the old rookie. It'll be the opposite of every cop buddy movie.
So I mean, it's something it's repetitive. So I mean, your first time, like anything else, you're going to be nervous and you're going to stumble over your words, and things aren't going to come out like they are. But after doing it 4 or 5 times, you'll get it down, and it'll be like second nature. You'll just roll through it, and you'll grab the book and say, "Hey, here, just check it out while we're standing here. And if you have any questions, then I'll be happy to answer them."
I remember last time we talked to you were I forget if it came out already or if it was just about to come out. Forgive my memory, but you were making a Revenant action figure.
So Blaine is first, and those should be out next year. So yeah,
they look good, man.
Is next in line. So it'll be Blaine, Revenant, Mystic, and Interim in Series 1.
Oh, cool! And they look good from the pictures you showed. They look.
So I can send you.
Yeah, you got a picture of them. Show them. Might as well. Yeah, because they didn't look like those. There's I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but there's somebody who makes and they just look like old 1970s unbendable toys. Yours look pretty good. I was
right.
Really
so it's GI Joe scale, so the 1/18 3 1/4 scale. And I mean, we're about quality, and I don't want to ever put anything out there that I wouldn't want or is substandard, because I don't want to feel like I'm ripping anybody off, and I don't want to put anything in their hands that's cheap or doesn't look like it's quality. So anything that comes from Comicsburg is going to be quality stuff. I mean, it's going to be very similar to what you're seeing on the shelves, and that's what we want to do. Is we don't want to put trash out there and just say we did it and then charge somebody $5-6, or with this action figure $35, and you don't get your money's worth. So not only do you get the action figure, so it has multiple heads, multiple hands, it has the guns, it has the holsters, just like the what you see in the book, and it comes with the Blaine one shot. It's called High Stakes, so you get that for free. So if you don't get it from me, either through the store or if when I do the Kickstarter, if you buy it retail, local retail, there'll be a code inside of the package that will get you, you'll be able to order that book for free.
Oh, cool. So Afro SF is asking again, Valiant, Broadway, CrossGen, Techno, Future Comics have all failed. Do you think the new independents are here for the long? Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know what Marvin thinks, but I'll tell you, 90% of all businesses fail.
Yes.
You know, and 90%, like, I'm not trying to get political here, but Trump opened up something like 214 businesses and 200 of them failed. And then they point to him like, yeah, but it's the 14 that succeeded. I was a part owner of a pizzeria. It failed. You know what I mean? 90% of all businesses fail.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's the naivety of us that think, oh, but my business is going to fail or whatever. But, so
I mean, to add on to that. So in the 90s, when before Image, you had Malibu, right?
Right.
So when Malibu came along, then Image came along, then everyone wanted a piece of the pie because comics were booming then. So the sales were astronomical compared to what they are now. So issue one of new publisher with new book was going to sell 100,000 copies because you had 10,000 stores in North America. You don't have 10,000 stores in North America.
No,
it's in the realm of 2,000 now.
That's what I heard.
Or less than that. So, and with that, less risk taking, because in that days everything was selling, so it was a seller's market. Everything was selling, so everything was being brought. So people were taking chances on almost anything. It didn't matter what it was. So when you bring up those ones that failed, they failed not because of the books weren't quality. They failed because they were as a crowded market.
Right.
I mean, the market is not as crowded as it was before, but you still see some publishers having problems. Action Lab, Scout, IDW, and what the difference for now is that now some of these publishers are IP chasers, they're IP farms, where they're creating something not because they want to do comics, because they want to do movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
So you're like, when the dust settles, there will be the ones that are left standing, and then in a few years, some other ones will pop up, and they'll either sustain themselves or they won't. But I mean, it's a revolving door. It's happened since the beginning of all this comic stuff, where like was it Checker, or what was the other one that Fawcett? So I mean, it's not a new thing that these things pop up and they fail. Like you said, 90% of businesses fail because a lot of them aren't run as businesses; they're run as like IP farms or money laundering places. Just take the product in the front door.
That was literally Charlton. Charlton Comics was money laundering for the mob.
Yeah.
That guy went to jail for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're like, things are going to, like, it's like plants. Some plants grow, some plants don't grow. They're going to pop up and they'll be gone, or they'll stick around for a while. I
remember, like, I was a part of a pizzeria, and we would see it. Pizzerias would open up, and they would do really good. You know, they're the new pizzeria. Everybody would rush to them,
Mm-hmm.
And then sooner or later, they would start getting lesser quality cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get the lesser quality cheese, people would move on, and then they would get lesser quality cheese. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is what comic book companies are doing right now. Marvel used to buy the top quality cheese.
Yeah.
Then sales started to slip, and now they're hiring less quality cheese. You know, rather Marvel really has to, because I think Marvel and DC, more so Marvel, is the strength of the industry. Marvel's got to bite the bullet and hire Walt Simonsons and Kurt Busiek and all of these top talents and pay them what they're worth. And then, you know, they're going to bite the bullet for a little while, but I think the floodwaters will rise. And then when the floodwaters will rise, Edge Comics and Longbox Comics will rise with them.
Right.
But, you know, we got to get those people back into comic book stores.
Right. So, I mean, and it's, you have to be able to sustain the market that you're playing into, because all you're really doing is dropping a product at a store and kind of putting that store in a position to sell that product. So you have to kind of scale back a little bit on your Batman books or your Spider-Man books. You don't need 8 Batman books or 9 Spider-Man books in a month.
Oh, what we need is 2 good Spider-Man books, 2 good X-Men books. 8 mediocre Spider-Man books doesn't help anybody.
No.
And we also don't need 50 covers. What we, luckily, I still find it hard to believe that you and I are close to the same age when I'm looking at you. But when we and you were kids, how many Fantastic Four comics were there? There was just one, and it was awesome. And it sold 200,000 copies a month. They didn't need schemes. They didn't need trickery. I really do like Marvel. Me and you, Mark, let's just go in there with guns a-blazing, kick everybody out, put ourselves in the big chair, and then just hire the what do you want? That's what you Walt Simonson, you're over here. Brett Booth, you're over here. Just get all of the top talent, sit them in these chairs, and it's going to take 8-9 months of taking it on the arm, but sooner or later, what they say, bullshit walks and quality, talks.
Right. I said it's a doable thing, but the one thing they have to stop doing is rebooting.
Right. They have to make it matter. Again, you and I, the Jim Shooter years. Jim Shooter was really, really strict about continuity. Jim Shooter was really, really strict about quality. He was really, really strict about it mattering. And now I think they got like editors. I don't even know who these people are. It used to be like you'd see the same names. These people were careers, like Ralph Macchio's and Denny O'Neill's and Archie. All these guys. You'd see them for the other names. Like so many names just flooded in my head. I couldn't even get them out of my mouth fast enough. Now I don't know who these people are, and it seems like they come and go like gnats in a cloud. And I don't. And what you said, it's all IP farms. They're all Netflix. Like, why would you bring your best characters and stories to Marvel now? There's no, there's no,
and that's why you have an indie boom right now, and that's thanks to crowdfunding also, where it gives people the ability to fund something and not have to go into debt just to make their comics. So,
but I do think you're absolutely right. Like if Marvel raised their quality, I do think they would, because people like comic books. I'm a construction worker. Guys were excited when they found out I was making a comic book.
Right.
They're all like, "Oh man, I used to love Green Lantern." And now they're like, "I don't like him anymore." Like every once in a while, these adults, they would, they're like, "Yeah, the kids were away," and they're walking up like they walk into a comic book store and they don't recognize these characters. Nothing. So get these guys, get everybody back into a store, and then you and I, Diamond's gonna be like, "Yeah, why not?" Remember the 80s, 90s? Boom. We'll get these comics in the stores again, but there's not enough stores. We need 10,000 comic book stores again.
Right.
Or the newsstand.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've looked in the newsstand, and I mean, it's something that we would like to try to do. The problem is that they only have to return the cover if they're returning the book, and they can destroy the rest of it. So like that's kind of a lost sale for us. So the question about the ads, I mean, that depends on the publisher. I would say that it depends on distribution. So I would say we would charge for a full-size ad, black and white or color. So all our stuff is color. So I'll give you that price, and then we can try to figure out what would be in black and white. So probably like $200 or so. And black and white, probably cut it in half to 100.
I know Alterna, they tried to get into newsstands and things like that, and he experimented with returnable comics.
But, get that cover off and that's it. Or in some cases, you got nothing. And
right. When Marvel was selling, 200,000 Fantastic Fours and 200,000 X-Men and blah blah blah. So you're talking they would sell like 1 million comics of their entire product line a month. And they would get returns. They could absorb that, but Alterna was like, nowhere near these markets. And then, he said this store would get 20 copies, and then be like, 20 copies didn't sell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then like they would sell the comics and then hit them up. So he said, unscrupulous people.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure there was unscrupulous people back then, but they could absorb that unscrupulousness.
Right. Yeah, it's harder for an indie to absorb a loss than it is for a Marvel or DC, and
Yeah.
they're a big corporation. They could just write that stuff off.
Hey, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. I always forget to ask people, like, subscribe. I never do the YouTube stuff because to me, this is just hanging out with people talking about comic books.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button, like and subscribe, super chat. Blah, blah, blah. I feel dirty when I say stuff like that.
Oh, so you want to pop the Kickstarter up and play?
Oh yeah, sure. Which the toy or the
video on the Kickstarter. I think sure. People are watching. I think they'll really like the trailer.
Let's see. There we go.
It always gets my energy pumping when
okay, I'm gonna bring it to the top. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm gonna play your trailer, and why can't I find the button? There we go.
Looks like chaos is coming.
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
That is an excellent trailer.
Yeah, it always gets the energy flowing when I see that.
Yeah, that is really good.
I think someone's having a bad afternoon. I think he had a bad end of his life.
How can I know if I like the video until I finish watching? Okay, someone's having a bad afternoon. Yeah. So this is live on Kickstarter right now.
Yes, I think 12 days to go. I think we're 71%.
Nice. And I got the first 7 issues. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna, not gonna lie to anybody. Like I said, I really like the way. Forgive me. There's no way I'm pronouncing his last name, so I'll just say V.
Yeah, that's why we always call him Mark V. It's okay.
Yeah, I saw the name spelled, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. But he's got like I said, he's got a manga influence, and then I really enjoy the technology that he draws. It's pretty imaginative, and it looks functional. It's not just some BS flying mechanism that
right.
Like, not to be mean, but I love it. But Jack Kirby's machines, they didn't really work.
Where'd the gas go in that thing?
Yeah. What is that? What does this unnecessarily long lever do into gears and everything? But it looked cool.
Or the other one I would say is a Rob Liefeld gun. How does that work?
how does that 808-pound girl lift that thing? And also, I'll bring this up too. I forgot. I'll bring up your action figure again.
So there's a video on that one if you want to play that on.
Oh, there is a video?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I think you have to click through on some of the on the left there. Oh, not that one. Go back to the store. Or just
shop.
Yep, shop. And then click on the action figure again. And then on the left there's different pictures. One of those is the video.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, go back to the action figure. Go previous on the left. See that there's scroll bar? Yeah. One of those is the video. It's the one that has the button.
Oh, there we go. That is cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so 25 points of articulation on the figure.
That is pretty cool. Who sculpted that? Do you know?
That's a loose collector. They did Lady Death recently for Polito. They've done Critter. They've done a lot of indie characters. They did Rocketeer.
Okay.
They did Red Sonja.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think I'm the only one they're doing the 1/18 scale for. Everything else is the 1/12. So the 6-inch is they're doing for everyone else.
Yeah, that's the size of the GI Joes, right?
Yeah.
Well,
the current GI Joe is not old school GI Joe.
Oh, yeah, the old schools were three and a half inches, if I remember.
Yeah, 3.25.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna go get my dinner now. We've been talking for an hour. Is there anything that I did not bring up that you'd like to mention?
Oh no, I mean, I just like to say is that I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, sure. It's a pleasure.
And for everyone out there who is tired of certain styles of comic, come to indie comics because we've got what you want. And it's not 60 years worth of history and you have to remember or keep track of. It's all brand new stuff. And most of us don't allow our books to go out of print. So there's none of that artificial numbers on the books.
There you go. Cool. Thanks a lot for coming, and say hello to Heroinberg for me, man.
I will. Thank you.
You guys are the OGs that were.
Yeah.
I think within like the first 4 or 5 people that ever come on my channel. So thanks a lot, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Good night.